Hi there. Do you have a healthy family? How would you know? What are the indicators of a healthy family? Welcome back to Life Reconsidered with your girl, Dr. T. Today we want to discuss what a healthy family looks like. In every family, you have subgroups. The subgroup consists of the parental subgroup and the child or children subgroup. In the event that you have grandparents living with you, then we have a third subgroup, which is the grandparent subgroup. A healthy family has healthy boundaries, and that is the first indicator of a healthy family. The boundaries are not crossed, meaning that everybody in the family understands that the parent subgroup are responsible for everything that parents ought to be responsible for. And the children's subgroup are aware of what their role and their responsibilities are as well. And in the event that the grandparents are living with this family, the grandparents also have understanding of how far they can go, what conversations they can participate in, and even what advice they can give to the parent subgroup. Now, if the couple in that parent subgroup are not working as a team, it will create a lot of confusion because children will begin to have conversations that are beyond what they should be having. So it's very important that in every family we have a healthy boundary. The question is, how far is too far? Keep that in mind. How far is too far? Setting healthy boundaries allows all the subgroups or the members of the family to have a healthy perspective on what needs to be done. Otherwise, everyone is going to be crossing into each other's subgroup and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. For example, especially for mothers, sometimes they tend to do things for the children when they have to be training those children to become independent and self-sufficient. So it's important for parents, especially mothers who spend a lot of time with their children, to have a clear and healthy boundary of what that child needs to be doing and what they don't have to be doing. If the mother gets so immersed in the world of the child, it takes away the opportunity for that child to be independent and to learn things for themselves and to become self-sufficient. So as a parent, you have to have understanding of this is our conversation as parents, and you are not allowed as a child to have or to participate in that conversation. When there is enmeshment or entanglement between the children and the parents, it can take away some respect, or the children begin to have a different perspective about the parent. As much as there ought to be a healthy boundary between the parent and the child and or the grandparent, it's also important that in a healthy family, as the children begin to grow and become teenagers, that they allow more room for negotiations and self-accountability. So as the children begin to grow, you want to give them a little bit more room to negotiate what they can do and what they cannot do and what conversations they can participate in. So it's very important to take note of the fact that in every healthy family, there ought to be healthy boundaries between the subgroups in the family. The second indicator of a healthy family is the communication style, healthy communication. When we talk about healthy communication, especially among the parents group, we are saying that the couple understand themselves. They have open dialogue, open conversations about who needs what and what needs to be done. And when the parent subgroup is giving instructions to the children in the family, there is clear and unambiguous communication about who needs to do what and who has to take care of what. So healthy communication is very important, especially if family, which is the parent subgroup, if they would have a healthy relationship between them, between the husband and the wife, it's important for them to have a clear, concise, unambiguous communication about who needs to take care of what and which child needs what. The two of you will have to work like a team. Now, in some cases, we feel like the other person should know. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And the reason is that nobody can read your mind, right? It's the same way you cannot read your spouse's mind. So it is important that the couple in the family have a clear, concise conversations day to day. To understand, you got to take care of this, I got to take care of this, especially now that the kids are going back to school. Who is picking them up? Who is dropping them off? Who is taking care of what? And that conversation needs to spill into their own personal life so that they can have an intimate relationship. Intimate relationship among the couple is not possible without a clear, concise, and unambiguous conversation. It is crucial for all family members to be able to communicate clearly and not assume that somebody is doing what. If, as a husband and wife, you all cultivate a healthy conversation lifestyle, it will help both of you to also train the children to have a healthy dialogue and conversation. And some of the healthy conversation style is, knowing how to problem solve, knowing how to negotiate, and knowing how to have a collaborative parenting. And all these skills are very important even as the children are growing. So if the two of you are able to develop this healthy communication style, you are able to then teach the children in the family to also have problem-solving skills, dialogue, negotiations, and also have, a harmonious home. So conversation is very important. And that's the second indicator of a healthy family. Now, the third indicator of a healthy family is having emotional and spiritual health. Emotional and spiritual health. In every healthy family, you don't brush your emotions under the carpet. You make room to deal with that, regardless of how strong those emotions are. And among the husband and wife, it's important to be able to cultivate that opportunity and space for you to deal with your emotions. As couples, you're going to get mad at each other. And that's just part of the structure. But a healthy family do not sweep those hard emotions under the carpet, but they deal with it. So as a husband and wife, if you are able to deal with those strong emotions, like being mad at each other, going to bed and sleeping at the end of the bed. You don't want to talk to each other. It's okay. It happens. It's part of life. But a healthy family learns to deal with those strong emotions. A healthy couple learns to deal with those strong emotions. You are able to discuss them and you find solutions to them. And if you're able to do that, then you can pass that on to the children's that group. You are able to teach them how to deal with their anger, how to deal with their irritability, how to deal with their disappointment, and how to deal with a defensive attitude, and also how to deal even with your friends who are upset with them or don't want to have anything to do with them. So a healthy family has healthy emotional health. And you have to be mindful of how you take care of your emotions. When your child comes to you very upset and angry, you don't say, just go and deal with it, but you help the child to process their own emotions. There are times that as parents will offend the children. It is okay to apologize and use that as an example to teach the child how to deal with, emotions, and also teach them how to respond to emotions. Now, most of the times we are so interested in the IQ of the child, which is the intellectual quotient of the child. But what we don't know is that the emotional intelligence is a huge part of the growing process or the developmental process of that child. And emotional intelligence is something they don't teach in school. So as parents, it's important for us to be able to cultivate a healthy emotional lifestyle so that we can pass that on to our children. We can teach them how to be emotionally intelligent so that they can deal with anything and everything that comes out in their world. And it starts with us. It starts with the parent subgroup in the family, the couples in the family. It starts with us. So we ought to understand how to deal with emotions, how to be emotionally intelligent so that we can then teach the children how to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally healthy. Okay. Now with a spiritual healthy, we are talking about understanding what spirituality is and what spirituality plays a role in the family. For some families, they look at spirituality different. But for Christians, our spirituality is tied to our faith in God. And it's important right from the get-go to teach the children what that looks like. You and I, as parents, will have to model what healthy spiritual skills looks like. We don't have to shy away and hide our faith. We have to display it. We have to model it. And we have to have conversations around it with the children so that they don't see spirituality as something that is distant from them. But they will have to see spirituality as something that is part of their very nature. It is not going to church on Sundays and that's about it. And spirituality goes beyond going to church on Sundays. It's about how you get in tune with God, how you develop that inner intuition and self-awareness. And as parents, it beholds on us to practice this ourselves so that we can teach the children subgroup how to be spiritually healthy and what spiritual health also looks like. Okay, I'm going to throw one more in there, and this is specifically for couples. Now, in a healthy family, the couples within that family should have transparency in finances, transparency and what is happening to themselves. Finances is a huge one. Okay, talking about finances, with couples, it's usually one of the unpleasant things that I like to do, because it gets so muddy and it gets so tricky. But in every healthy family, there is a clear, transparent conversation about money matters. Who is bringing in how much? Are you having a joint account, a single account? Are you putting your money together? Who is taking care of the children's needs? Who is buying what? And when I buy it, does the other person know? These are all conversations that needs to happen in a healthy family. It is important to discuss your finances. Healthy family also opens up about the challenges of what's going on. People tend to say that a woman's money is her money and a man's money is the family's money. Some people may see it that way, but you and your family need to have a conversation about what does money issue look like in our family. The danger is to adapt the concept and the perspective of other people and imply that to your own situation. It can be very tricky and it can bring a lot of confusion. It's so crucial for you and your spouse to have transparency when it comes to the money issues and who is doing what in the family. Let me ask you this. Is your family healthy? Is there anything that you feel like you need to talk about? Are you hiding things from your family? Are you hiding things from your spouse? Do you go buy things impulsively and hide it? Well, these are just questions that you need to think about and you need to ask yourself. If you have a healthy family, all cards are on the table. All cards are on the table. Okay. All right. I did say I was going to talk about, this one or the last one, but let me add one more. In every healthy family, there is a hierarchy of structure, meaning who is in charge. There is no confusion about who is in charge. In most Christian homes, the husband is usually in charge, followed by the mother or the wife. Then the firstborn comes in, and the youngest child or middle child, and so on and so forth. In every healthy family, there ought to be a hierarchy. And that hierarchy ought to be made clear and need to be respected. Very important. The children in the family needs to understand that dad is the head of the family. Even if to you as a wife, you think that's not supposed to be so, you cannot change the hierarchy. The hierarchy needs to be made plain. It needs to be there. It needs to be explained, and it needs to be respected. Hierarchy is important so that when the children come to you and ask you for something, they will not split hairs between you and your spouse. But as a team, you can consult your spouse and the two of you can decide what to do. So having a hierarchy is important. Hierarchy also helps in role selection, meaning that you understand who is doing what again, and it makes it clear for the children to approach you to approach your spouse or to approach the grandparent if the grandparent is living. So having a hierarchy is crucial to a healthy family. Okay, now that's it for today. Think about it. Are there different ways that you can think about how we can be healthy as a family? Maybe a little more conversation, a little more family meeting here and there to discuss who's doing what and to discuss what has to be done at what time. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking out with me. And if you have any questions regarding what a healthy family is, or if you have concerns or questions, don't hesitate. You can email me at mylifereconsidered@gmail.com. mylifereconsidered@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye.